Hi everybody, and thank you for joining us today on Plant Powered. I'm Chef Ryan Jennings, and you're watching Eat This TV. A lot of people who are just trying whole food plant-based cooking for the first time are wondering, like, what am I going to eat during the middle of the day? What am I going to snack on? Do I just have to eat carrot sticks? The truth is, there's so many different possibilities, and today we're just going to show you a few of them. And what I'm going to start out by doing is charring up some eggplant for Baba Ganoush. This is a pretty traditional Middle Eastern recipe. It starts by getting some nice eggplant from your grocery store or local farmer's market. You always want to look for a nice green top and for the eggplant themselves to be nice and firm. Should sound like good bread when you give it a tap. And we're just going to throw these on the stove right now and just let them char. So you want to turn your gas all the way up till high and just let them get nice and burnt on the outside. This would also be great on an outdoor grill, but as you can see, it's not going to happen in here today. What we're going to prepare alongside the Baba Ganoush is something called Socca Bread. So this is a gluten-free chickpea pancake or bread that's origins are in Nice, in France. And what we're going to do is start out here with the chickpea flour. So chickpea flour, or garbanzo flour rather, is rather ubiquitous in grocery stores now. But you know what? This morning I went to go find some and they didn't have any. So what I did was grabbed a bag of whole dried chickpeas and threw it in our Vitamix blender, which you'll see plenty of throughout the course of this show. We love that thing. And it pulverized it up into this fresh flour. And so it's got a wonderful aroma of chickpeas, and we've just slightly seasoned this with salt. So we got a few other components here that we're going to use. This is tahini, so sesame seed paste. We get ours from, once again, wonderful company in Trumansburg, New York. We've also got some nutritional yeast here, and then this is our spice mixture. So in here we've got a little bit of turmeric, some cumin, some za'atar, which you might not be familiar with, but is a wonderful spice from that's traditional in Middle Eastern cooking. It includes dried and ground thyme, sesame seeds, sumac, which has a great tangy flavor. And so we'll just add these to our chickpea flour. So just mix that around until it's combined. We can also add in a bit of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has a somewhat earthy, sort of mushroomy, cheesy flavor. Oftentimes in plant-based cooking, it's a substitute for cheese. If you were add it to a sauce or something like that, it would give it sort of a creamy texture, as if you had added Parmesan cheese or something like that. That's what we've got here. I'm also just going to be checking on our eggplants as we're doing this. They could use a little bit more time before we turn them. Great. Okay, so we've got our mix here, and we're going to whisk it together. And just a cheap little kitchen trick for you, if you want your bowl to stay in place, grab your kitchen towel, just roll it up here, put a loose tie, set your bowl in it, and it stays put. If you got a larger bowl, wetting your towel first helps. So we're just going to take our wet ingredients here. This is a mixture of water and aquafaba, so just the liquid from cooking garbanzo beans. Same stuff that is in the can if you use canned beans. And we're just whisking in this liquid here until we have a kind of a thick, almost pancake-like batter. Okay, so we whisked this together in sort of a thick pancake batter. This fresh garbanzo bean flour since it's a little bit more coarse, doesn't take as much liquid as normal, so we're just watching the consistency. And then now we're adding in our tahini. Just making sure we get all of it here. Perfect. Now I'm also going to add a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. Just set this off to the side here. I'm going to take a quick look at our eggplant. Great. So, almost ready there. Now we're just going to take a little bit of fresh parsley here. The stems of the parsley are fine to use in things as long as they are tender. I can see just looking at those stems there, they are not quite as tender as we would like, but we can save those for our stock. And so now we're just going to finely slice this parsley. So this will just add a nice sort of herbaceous flavor to our Socca bread. Nice, beautiful green color. And if you're looking to mince your parsley a little bit finer, best way to do that is to grab your knife by the handle using your thumb and forefinger, place your other hand on top, and just kind of rock and chop. And then you can go a little bit faster, a little bit faster. Perfect. Okay. So we're just going to add this into our Socca bread mixture here. Clean up after ourselves and just whisk that in. Perfect. So this is what we're looking for, just kind of a very thick pancake batter type consistency. I can hear our eggplant back here. Sounds about ready. When the liquid starts escaping the eggplant, you know that you're about ready. I think we're also going to transfer this to oven just to finish the cooking. But that can go along with our Socca bread. Perfect. Okay. So now, we've got a nice sort of earthenware dish here. And I'm going to get a piece of parchment paper to make sure that our Socca bread doesn't stick to it. So one of the key tenets of whole food plant-based eating is that we don't use any oil. It's a very calorically dense food, and when making oil, you're basically refining whatever it is you're making the oil out of, whether it be olives, whether it be soybeans, other vegetables, and you're taking everything away from them, all the nutrition, all the fiber, all the good things, and just leaving the fat. So oil certainly serves some purposes, and you know, the best thing to do if you do choose to use oil is to use the highest quality possible. And so we're just going to make a little round here for this. So we folded our parchment paper in half again, in half again, until we can't fold anymore. Little paper airplane. And then we're going to measure to the center of our earthenware dish here. Cut that off. Place that in there. I'm actually gonna put a little bit of this extra liquid we had in here, just to rub it along the edge. And that way our parchment paper will stick there nicely on the bottom. Perfect. So now we've got our Socca batter, and we will just transfer that here into our nice earthenware dish. That's a good amount there. And now we're just going to take this, put it in a 450-degree oven, nice and hot, for about 15 to 20 minutes until it is baked and set through. And we're going to take care of that, and I'll be right back. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. As you can see, our eggplant has charred nicely. You can see that the little liquid from inside the eggplant has started to seep out. That's how you know it's done. They've shrunk up a little bit. Eggplant is mostly water, so charring it this way, it really infuses flavor into the eggplant that I think you will enjoy. Phantom blender. Okay, so we're gonna grab ourselves a little sheet of parchment paper here just to work cleanly, since we've got this charred eggplant here. Go. Just start one more time. So we've got a sheet of parchment paper here that we're just going to use to help peel the eggplant. I'm also going to put on some gloves here. Just helps keep it clean, since we're working with the charred product here. And then we'll use this to make Baba Ganoush. So we can drain off a little bit of the water. Use our smaller knife here to remove the ends, and then we're just going to peel back this burnt skin and remove it. Good for the compost. I can't think of anything else. There's a sort of modern culinary trend to create vegetable ash and include it in things. Not a big fan. I think some of the best chefs in the world can do it and get away with it, but when the novices and wannabes try it, not quite as great. All right, so we're gonna take our eggplant here, put it right into our food processor, and just repeat that with this other eggplant. Just removing all of this charred skin. You can see inside it's nicely steamed, soft, should puree beautifully. Okay, right in there. And you see, since we use the parchment paper and the gloves, everything is up nice, neatly, clean it right up. Okay. So this liquid is also something that we want. We don't want to waste it. Very delicious there. Great. And now we're going to add the other ingredients that we need for the Baba Ganoush. So we've got a little bit of salt. I'm using sea salt here. We've got a bit of cumin that we've freshly toasted and ground. I can't recommend that highly enough. So buying whole spices, they're going to last longer when you store them, because as we know, like, spices are very expensive. But you're also going to get a much better flavor out of them. So just to toast them, you get a dry pan, put it over medium-high heat, toast the seeds until their fragrance start popping and brown a little bit, and then just let them cool and put them in a spice grinder. I have a coffee grinder at home and a sweet pea that we use just for the spices, and that way your coffee doesn't end up tasting like cumin. So we got a few garlic cloves here. Just going to remove the root end. Those can go on our stock, and then we'll just quickly chop these. Perfect. Put those in as well. We've got a nice lemon that we're going to zest and juice in here. You want to make sure especially when you're using the zest from lemons, that you're purchasing organic lemons that aren't sprayed with pesticides. Gives you a great extra lemon flavor in with your Baba Ganoush. And then to really get the most out of the lemon and its juice here, you want to be breaking down like the inside cell membranes here that hold the little pods of juice in the lemon. So we're just going to roll it back and forth till it gets nice and soft and you can feel it pliable. Also helps with the garlic smell. And then we're just going to cut that in half, and you can just see here how it's broken down and all the juice is ready to come right out of there. So we've just got a sieve here and one of these handy dandy juicing items. And we'll just add all of that lemon juice here into our eggplant mixture. Perfect. Then we also have a little bit of tahini, that sesame seed paste that we used earlier in our Socca bread, which is just about ready. Okay, so now we'll just put on the top to our food processor here and let it run. So I do see that we've got a nice smooth puree here. We just want to give it a little taste. Delicious. I'm actually just going to add a little bit of hot sauce to this, just for a little extra acidity and pop. Watch out for that guy. Okay. So now we're just going to transfer this to a bowl and get ready to serve it. Meanwhile, I'm going to go grab our Socca bread, so we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So we've got our Baba Ganoush here. We just put it into a little bowl. You can see it's just a wonderful, like, summertime spread. I mean, honestly, you can eat this any time of year. We just added a little dill to that because I think it's a criminally underused herb and it works very well with the eggplant. And what I thought we'd do in addition to our Socca bread is just kind of arrange a little bit of crudité with this. So we've got a few different vegetables here that we can start out with. Just got a nice carrot here. And so we will just peel this. This is a pretty clean looking carrot, so alternatively you could just scrub it and not pull the peel, but we always save those for stock anyway. So we will just trim that end there. And then just cut some longer oblique cuts of the carrot. And arrange some of those on our platter. We've got some nice fennel here. So we'll just take a nice piece of this. Save part here. This portion of the fennel, if you do want to eat it raw, it's good to peel. So we will do that as well. Just because the outside is a little bit fibrous and gets stuck in your teeth. Perfect. So we'll just trim that down into some sticks that are easy to dip. There. And then we'll also just cut down another piece of this fennel into nice tranches and arrange those. Then we've got these gorgeous radishes that we found with some of the greens on them as well. So we can just trim these down, trim a portion of the greens off, cut those into nice wedges. Adds a beautiful little color. plate. We've also got a few nice green beans here that we'll just kind of split on a bias. Okay. And now we'll just grab our Socca bread. Still nice and warm from the oven. You see that our parchment paper here allows us to just lift it right out of the earthenware dish. And we'll just kind of remove that here. And I think we'll just cut a nice piece from the outside. Place it just on top there. And obviously we'll just let this cool a little bit more before we serve it to our guests. In the meantime, I think we need just one little bit more for the crudité. We've got some celery here. And we'll just cut that down so it's a little bit more manageable. Split these here. That. Trim a little bit so they fit on our plate. And there we are. We've got this wonderful summery dip, Baba Ganoush, so an eggplant dip with tahini, with a variety of crudité, our Socca bread. This stuff is wonderful. You can bake it a little bit thinner and use different toppings, get it a little bit crispier, so you could have kind of a gluten-free version of a pizza. Yeah, wonderful with like caramelized onions, any sort of fresh market vegetables that you want to thing. You could just take whatever's left over from your crudité here and roast it all off and put it on top. Also, you could mix them in, right? So like if you wanted to just have almost like a muffin of this, you could mix in all sorts of different vegetables. The possibilities are endless. And maybe we'll try another variety on another show. But thank you all so much for joining me today. My name is Ryan Jennings. I'm the chef and owner of Sweet Pea Plant-Based Kitchen, and you've been watching Plant Powered on Eat This TV.